Seattle Seahawks trying to create a little confusion, a little misdirection. Yeah, I think they know what they're doing. When you're at pick 5, there aren't many scenarios you have to play out to know what your options are going to be. Now, as it relates to trading down, John Schneider said they've gotten periphery calls. I'm not quite sure what that means, but preliminary maybe he's got a Schneiderism there. I think he meant preliminary calls, and it heats up next week as they get closer to the draft, and we'll see. We know they have a history of trading down. The question becomes, who's there for them? Do they stay put, or do they pursue more lottery tickets? I'm a firm believer in getting more choices, more players. That's more opportunities to get guys that become great players and part of your nucleus, and they've done a great job over the years finding guys later in the process.
They definitely have. I mean, you know, they've quietly done a good job of kind of retooling this roster a little bit over the last year and a half, 2 years. And they even did a good job in free agency this year. Did some things and have a chance to really change their team around here with 2 picks in the top 20, right? 5 and 20. I mean, wow. So, you know, I got so much respect for Pete Carroll and John Schneider and what they've done, how long they've done it, you know, their eye for the attitude and the talent of the football player, right? I mean, and then, you know, even their guts and just the guts of going with Geno and how they support him and everything. I certainly have a ton of respect for that Seahawks organization.
They've been selling the idea that they may take a quarterback at number 5. We've heard less of that as we've gotten closer to the draft. I think they realize that's a little malarkey, that they're not going to introduce that element of a top 5 quarterback as they embark on this relationship with Geno Smith. And even though his contract, very easy to walk away from after 1 year, they just don't want that. They don't need that. I think that's where we really will be waiting to see if Jalen Carter is the pick. And if not, a trade down to somebody who wants to come get Jalen Carter. I think that's the guy. If they're looking to leverage a trade, that's the guy they need to be looking at number 5, not a quarterback.
No, I think so too. I think if you look at them as a whole, like the front 7, I certainly can look at, and it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they got one of the prized possessions in football in Draymond Jones in free agency this offseason. I mean, he's one of those guys, you know, F the play up, right? He's not a household name. But if you and I watch the game on film, we'd go, damn, that guy, Draymond Jones, is in the backfield causing a lot of havoc, a whole lot, right? So that was a big-time signing. But I still think front 7 would probably be a big need here. I would. You know, interior O-line, you can look at that and go, yeah, they could maybe use something there. But, you know, Jalen Carter, or like I've said to you, Mike, if Tyree Wilson's on the board and they can have a guy like that coming off the edge, I'd have a hard time thinking they're going to pass that one up either. So I feel like it's a front 7 type of move. And within front 7, yeah, to me, it's Jalen Carter, Tyree Wilson, at least with pick 5 there as the guys that could possibly be available, and I think would make a lot of sense for them to pick.
Highest pick they've had since 2009, the year before Pete Carroll and John Schneider arrived. They took linebacker Aaron Curry. It did not go well for Aaron Curry in the Seattle Seahawks, and it just happens. And he was in a tough spot. He gets taken in the last year of the old regime. New regime comes in. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. So what are their top needs? What do they have to get this year?
I think it's that like interior O-line I talked about. I think at some point in the draft they probably go there with a guard or something. You know, and then, yeah, I do. I think it's a defensive line, you know, still another guy there. And just Pete Carroll, defensive coach. Like I said, there's some good, but, you know, they need some marquee players. And Uchenna Nwosu, he's a good edge defender. And, man, if you could couple him with, like I said, a Tyree Wilson, or you get a Jalen Carter at number 5, I still think, like, man, if Jalen Carter's on the board, I just have a hard time. Seattle, Pete Carroll, defensive guy is going to let him go by. I think he's taking him, you know, like we said, with a piece of gum, and he's going to run to New York with the pick, or Kansas City, I should say. But I think those are the 2 things I look at more than anything, Mike.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.